Yeah, that's a lovely countdown. Oh, you taking that from our media training?
Shane and
There's
I
no
did.
second cut.
Shane and I did a 2-week media training course, and all we learned was that you're supposed to clap so the person editing it can see the audio spike between each take.
You're welcome, Matthew.
Just kidding. Sup, Matthew? Cheers.
We didn't take a course. Oh, whoa, what is that?
It's Vida Mezcal.
Oh, is it
Mezcal.
mezcal?
Mezcal.
Claro.
In a petite coupe glass.
Oh. Look at you. Is there anything else in that?
No, it's just Vida.
Oh, wow. All right. Best of luck
life.
tonight.
It's just life. L'chaim to life.
Wow, so many cultures going on.
I have
Beverly
a secondary
Hills.
beverage that I would like to promote on this podcast. Martinelli's apple juice is the most fantastic, refreshing, delicious beverage on the planet. It goes quite well with a smoky mezcal, I must say.
Nobody cares about your apple juice bouginess.
That is not true. I was just on a call with our newest associate Azari, and I was drinking Martinelli's, and he goes, "Whoa, apple juice is delicious."
Is that why you hired him?
Yeah, that is why. Welcome to the team, Azari. You.
Right.
It looks like you're drinking apple juice over there.
No. This is whiskey, baby. A little single malt, a little Islay. It's actually not a single malt. It's a mixed single malt. I was doing my research ahead of this meeting. I ended up.
Oh, would you like to mansplain Scotch to me for the 100th time in my life?
No, you asked me what it is. I'm not mansplaining. Do you want to give us some background on Islay Mist?
No.
All right, low blow air is over here, taking advantage of the current cultural climate.
Right for the knees.
Wow. Okay, that's how we're going this week. All right, AJ, what are you reading?
No, but seriously, shout out to all the ladies out there. How many of you have been mansplained Scotch before? You would be the I would say eighth dude to do that. But yeah, you walked right into that one.
What?
Sorry about that.
You asked me what all right. Moving on. What are you reading?
I'm about to read. I haven't started it yet. Trevor Noah's autobiography, Born a Crime. I see it sitting over there. I'm excited to crack it open.
Oh, yeah, that looks cool. I bet that's really good. He seems chill. Very
cool.
What
are you reading?
Sailing book. Sailing to the Edge of Time. Some guy that's trying to be a poet talking about sailing. I'm just here for the facts, bro. And try to make it interesting. Some cruising stories. Yeah. We'll see.
That's cool.
Where are you at?
I am in a hotel room in Los Angeles, California. I am at the Petit Hermitage.
I love when you try to speak French.
In West Hollywood.
How do you pronounce the best restaurant in Williamsburg?
Maison Premier.
My favorite.
Goes to France once.
Yeah. I love it. Love it.
Yeah. You're home in BK.
Yes.
That's cool.
I'm in my tiny bedroom/office in Brooklyn.
What is this? What thing you added? Doing for fun? You think people care what we're doing for fun?
Yeah.
I don't think people care that we're playing Pokemon Go at all. But I'm beating you, which is what I care about.
That's not true. But yeah, I think people care what we're doing for fun. I don't think people care for answers like eating sushi. Do you like to travel as well, AJ? Do you enjoy The Office? You want to share some more unique personality quirks?
I wanted to talk about my special sushi experience.
No one wants to hear about that. Absolutely not. Anyway, let's get into the news for the week. I think everyone's done with the AJ and Shane show. What do you want to start off with here? We start something light, something heavy, something funny, something silly.
Everyone loves to talk about GameStop. So let's start with that one.
Okay. All right. What do you got?
Well, the GameStop CEO is, guess how old he is? I mean, I know you know, but he's young. He's older than us, but he's still young.
As long as they're older than me, I don't care about their accomplishments because there's still time.
The GameStop CEO is 36 and you're 34.
You're gonna bring that up on every episode?
Yeah.
My exact age.
We're co-CEOs of Brooklyn FI, so you could also say you're a CEO.
Oh yeah.
I'd say, yeah.
I was a CEO younger than him.
Yeah.
So eat that. What's his name? Is it like Nathan or something? Is it Richard?
It's got to be Jeremy?
Ryan.
Of course, Ryan. Ryan's a great CEO name.
Yeah, Ryan
Your
Cohen.
Your parents gave you a name like Ryan Cohen, and you're destined for CEO-dom.
Is there anything else interesting about this?
I think I know 3 Ryan Cohens. No, I have nothing interesting else to say about this. No, look, I think it's.
Are we surprised the meme stock CEO is under 40?
Yeah, I mean this Wall Street Journal article is just all about him basically going through and Game of Thronesing the board and just taking control recently, right? And that this was the major GameStop story was how it was a meme stock and the price was driven really high by people on Reddit buying tons of it, and then it fell dramatically. But the real story here seems to be how he took over control of the board so quickly and so decisively.
Oh, this guy's the co-founder of Chewy. I love Chewy. That's how our CEO gets fed every day.
Chewy.com.
Thanks to Ryan Cohen, yeah. So that's good. Thanks, Ryan.
Speaking of meme stocks and Chewy, it's funny in the financial advisor world, when you're going through your investment education early on, and we hear about pets.com, which is like one of like the major failures of the .com bust in 2001.
Right.
Pets.com was, an internet company valued
the original meme stock.
Yeah, valued at, way too many multiples of earnings. Everyone piled into that stock, and then it basically went to zero. But how much different is Chewy from Pets.com? Isn't it the same product, essentially, taking pet supplies online?
I don't know. I was 12 years old in 1999. But the main difference being that it was sold for billions of dollars, and now this guy,
right? But
a successful exit.
But it goes to show you, a poor execution, like right product, wrong time, right product, right time. And leadership.
I think people are ready for online. People didn't trust the internet back then. Well, I mean, speaking of age and the right time, and how one company is successful versus another one. If the CEO of Pets.com is reading this, he's got to really hate this line in the article that says, you don't have to have the highest IQ to run a successful business. Oh! You think he still has his options from back in 1999? And he's reading this article.
Those options aren't underwater. Those are buried at the bottom of the Mariana Trench.
He's stroking his grant from his restricted awards from 1997. You don't have to be the smartest guy.
Oh my God. Speaking of old stocks, I was cleaning up my grandparents' garage last week, and I actually found this huge pile of stock certificates. And I think most of our
accurate. Yeah.
Younger list, like I am a weirdo, so I like collect these things. So Shane, I think I gave you for your birthday like a Western Union like stock certificate once.
Yeah, I have it.
But like, I don't know. I like nerd out over that stuff. It's like, trading right now is so ephemeral. You like click a button, you can do it on your phone. Robinhood makes it so easy, but like a stock certificate used to be this, it looked like a diploma, a piece of paper that would say you own this many shares. There would be a stamp, and when you exchanged it, they would, I think they would punch it out to say that it was invalid, or you had, changed
like
an
shares endorsed check.
Yeah, super weird. Like how did the world function back then? Spoken like a true millennial, right? How did the world exist before we arrived?
How does it work now? I'm asking. Sincerely asking.
The algos.
Speaking of billionaires, we have another billionaire story here. I love this story. Bill Gates pledged $1.5 billion to support the infrastructure bill that the Democrats are pushing. It's Infrastructure Week now. With the Dems in control. There's 2 reasons I love this story. For one, Bill's throwing money at a problem like any busy white man does. Just got a problem? Let's throw some money at it. He's under. I mean, I don't know if he was actually going to do this before. It's on brand for him to do something like this before. We're coming off the heels or the tail end of a pretty lascivious story surrounding his tenure as a shoulder rubber in chief over at Microsoft, and his wealth management company.
Chief talking paperclip officer.
Ooh, chief hand on the lower back, unconsented over at Microsoft. You know what? I think he's just a nerd. right? Like he just doesn't know what
No,
he's
no,
doing.
no, no, no. Do not pull that. This is not a battle you want to fight with me, my friend.
All right, all right, all right. Anyway, the second reason I love this is because he's making a matching contribution to the government. Like when
Wait. Let me
your
get this
company
straight.
makes matching contributions for your 401k just to keep
Let
you
me get
sticking
this
around.
straight really quickly. Okay, so richest man in the world, at various times in history. I'm not sure where he stacks up right now with, Tesla and Amazon stock, but one of the world's richest men in ever, right?
At one time, yes.
Donates his entire net worth to a foundation called the Bill Gates Foundation. Doesn't pay tax on any of it or avoids taxes on a lot of it. And then all of a sudden comes to the rescue of the American taxpayer with this like matching contribution. Like, look at me and my like shining cape. I'm the hero of the day. He's basically just paying the government back for the taxes he didn't pay all those years. Am I right?
It's funny. It's like I see it at both ends of the barbell, like of the spectrum of incomes. I love like really, like I've got some really dirtbag friends that don't want to pay their taxes because they're going to go towards the military, right? Like they don't want to. I had one guy ask me one time, can I just pay 70% of my tax bill because I know that 30% of it goes towards the military? I was like, well, no, you can't do that. But apparently Bill can.
That's what Bill did. Yeah. Bill was like, I don't want to pay. I don't like what the government.
Yeah. A
That's
matching
nuts.
contribution for infrastructure.
Yeah. I
Which,
mean,
I
billionaires.
kind of vibe with that at the same time. But I just find it very comical that this is.
Question
What do
for
you
you.
What do you got?
Who's your favorite billionaire and why?
Ooh, favorite billionaire? Richard Branson, obviously. Yeah, come on. He runs a successful business and does whatever he wants, and he's not. I mean, he's kind of lame, but if you're over a certain age, is he lame? I don't know. I don't pay close enough attention, but he just seems
Didn't
really
he also
silly.
go to space?
Well, yeah, but whatever. He's just like he's just inspiring. He's just an inspiring dude. He's not a dweeb billionaire.
No, he loves music. I mean, Virgin was all about music and selling music in the UK and then globally. So like
Yeah,
Virgin Airlines,
I've got bad news for you. If you were a billionaire, that would be the one you'd be closest to culturally.
me, Richard
Yes.
Branson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Yeah. So, what?
1000%.
So do you have a second? You have a better answer?
Branson is a good one. I would say, I think just because I align with his worldview and philosophy, or at least
Are we doing dead people too?
you could do dead people. I was going to say, I mean, Buffett is so inspiring because he talks so much about I mean, I guess all these people talk about their strategies to build wealth, but I think he's actually sort of in touch with a person who, sort of in touch with people who are not billionaires. I think a lot of the billionaires don't ever come into contact with people who are not billionaires. And Buffett seems to still have his like 2 feet on the ground. There's all these like.
Oh, you're falling
cute,
for that Humpty
I'm falling
Dumpty.
for
I
the
drink
drive-
Coca-Colas bullshit.
yeah,
I still
I'm
live in
fall-
the same house in Omaha.
hook, line, and sinker. I fell for that shit.
That's funny. I thought you were gonna go Putin on that one.
Never go Putin.
I've heard you say the opposite. But no, yeah. I mean, I think I kind of hear you on Buffett there. I mean, I did read his Snowball book. I just have to put that on record that I've finished that tomb.
Congratulations. That
Nobody,
tomb?
nobody, nobody gave me any awards for finishing that, and I don't remember anything from that book at all, except that he's a pretty chill dude. Pretty chill. I think he actually donated everything. Him and Bill were really tight. They had a really they were competing for coolest billionaires in terms of charity until Bill had his fall from grace with his sexual situation. I think that.
I mean, this is Bill's second fall from grace. Bill's first fall from grace was antitrust and Microsoft just squashing all competition. Like Bill has spent the past 2 decades with I would argue some of the most talented public relations folks in the business, turning around that image of, pirating, what's the word? What's the word? It's not pirate, like swashbuckling, stealing. What's the word I'm looking for?
Corporate raiders.
Yeah, raiders. There we go.
That kind
Raider.
of vibe. Yeah, the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but Bill was also a actual CEO. Like Warren just took people's money and put it in the right place.
Isn't that what we do?
I mean, yeah. And we're not in the journal for sexual. All right, next article. What do you got next here? You want to talk about Gusto?
Yeah. So, a company based out of Denver called Gusto, one of our favorite clients who's European pronounces it gusto, which is my favorite thing. They're a
Wait,
payroll
that's how they
company.
actually pronounce it.
Oh, really?
And I'm asking you. Is that what they?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's gusto. Like you have gusto, which is
Yeah,
that's
but
how
if
you
you were in
pronounce it.
Spain,
Oh, in Spain you would pronounce it gusto, of course. But it's just funny that we talk about gusto all the time because it's our payroll provider. But to hear this client say it say it on the phone, like, oh, and I got an email from Gusto. I think I like burst out
oh,
laughing the first time I heard that.
right. Anytime anyone, yeah, when someone sees it for the first time, yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, it's a company that we use for our payroll processing. Young, I wouldn't say youngish startup, but they've been around for about 10 years. And they just raised, what is it? Are they on E? Raised a Series E, which means they've already done A, B, C, and D. So this is their fifth round of funding.
Right.
Which usually
That
means
English major come in handy there.
Shut up.
What's after E? Is that A squared plus B squared equals C squared?
E with accent aigu.
Gotcha.
No, but what does this mean? It means that, every round, every letter we get further in the alphabet means not always, but generally means we're getting closer to some kind of public event, meaning a liquidity event, perhaps, because they keep going back to investors, need more money. At a certain point, they're getting to a point where they want to scale more, and they actually need that public offering to get all that cash infusion to continue to scale. Gusto is a great product. We use it. You like Gusto, right?
I love
in
Gusto.
there more than I am. Yeah.
Yeah. I've used them for about 3 years now. We've used them for about 3 years now. All of our employees are paid through Gusto. Yeah. We've got about 40 clients on Gusto as well.
Yeah. There's a
payroll sucks. Gusto makes it easier.
Yeah. I mean, no offense, actually offense to ADP and
for sure.
The big players out there who make it honestly a nightmare for small business owners. If you're, when we started Brooklyn, hiring our first employee on Gusto was like, an hour of training and some great email support, whereas ADP would have been, hours of training and sales and setup costs and nonsense, and no thank you.
ADP hires cute girls to go to accountants' offices to try to convince them to pay too much for shitty software. And it works. Has been working for a long time. I mean, that's literally their strategy. So thank you, Gusto, for keeping those cute girls away from me.
Oh my God. No, but they figured out that the product is the software. The product, business owners do not want to spend time on the phone with customer support, right? Every hour of our day is so precious, and the better the software works, the more it's going to scale, the cheaper they can make the product because they don't have to hire that whole army of customer support people. Obviously there's a team there, but when the product is the software and not the service, that's when we have companies that go public. And, Gusto is one that we're rooting for sure.
Yeah. Gusto, based in Denver. One of the coolest perks, whoever came up with this was a genius. People that work there, which we tried to do for a little while, but COVID happened. It's like, if you work there, I think they've discontinued this at this point, but you get a round trip ticket anywhere in the world. I think, is it the first year or every year? And there's some limits on it. So it ends up being only an $800 or $1,000 benefit or bonus to the employees, but it just has that great scalability where it seems like so much more than it actually costs. The employee gets a ton of value out of it because they think that they can just go anywhere in the world for the first time. They've been given permission, and a lot of people don't travel without some sort of permission. I don't know. As a travel lover, as you and I are,
and sushi lover,
and sushi, and the office, I think it was a cool benefit. Yeah. So shout out to Gusto. Rippling's right there on your heels, though. Watch out for them.
Yeah, Rippling, very, very sexy competitor.
Yeah. Comes from a previously very successable VC or tech entrepreneur. I forget who it actually is. I think they were either Zenefits. I forget the person that started Rippling. They have a lot of history in the VC world and in the startup world, and they're really going for Gusto's model, but as a PEO.
Yeah. Speaking of benefits, if you're listening,
Hmm.
why don't you go to our website, which is brooklynfi.com/podcast, and leave us a voicemail of the best benefit you've had at a job and the worst, most useless benefit you've ever had at a job. Shane, what's the best benefit you've had at a job?
I would say when I left, I hope no one's listening to this, but when I left PricewaterhouseCoopers, they forgot to turn off my cell phone bill. So I had free cell phone for like 18 months until I went out in New York and somebody took my phone and I called up AT&T and I was like, hey, I need a replacement phone. And they're like, let me just check your account. And like, oh, you're on our biggest account in the United States. We're going to have to contact them to replace your phone. I was like, no. And that's why I have a New York number now instead of an Austin, Texas phone number.
Oh, I didn't know that. So best perk was free cell phone, nice. Free cell phone when you no longer work for the company, paid by the company.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Chef's
no guilt
kiss.
at all.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of cool perks. I don't know. Can't think of any.
Stock options?
Oh, yeah. Stock options. That's cool.
All right.
Sure. Whatever.
Lame.
My first job after your 5-year anniversary, you got a $50 gift card to like Dave and Buster's or something.
That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do for Will on his 5-year anniversary.
Will, or we're for sure taking Will to Dave and Buster's on his 5-year anniversary. So Will, if you're listening.
Yeah, you're going to rent out Dave and Buster's for Will.
When was the last time you were at Dave and Buster's? By the way, do not go to Dave and Buster's while there is a pandemic raging.
No, right before the pandemic. I love Dave and Buster's. In Times Square, that place is mayhem. It is falling apart. Half the games don't work in a very fun way. It's silly. It's madness.
I used to work right over there. I think you did too, actually. I mean, I've probably been to that Dave and Buster's in Times Square 25 times. And I've only lived in New York for 10 years.
Is that why all the games are broken?
Yes, because I win all of
them. Doesn't work. That's not how you win. Just smashing the screen.
Anyway, I would like to invest in Dave and Buster's.
Speaking of a good time, look at that segue.
The show is just who can segue faster, who can get the other one to shut up.
Speaking of a good time, Democratic Senator Joe Manchin III, the Democrat out of West Virginia, has a houseboat called Almost Heaven, lives on it in D.C. That's his primary residence, is a houseboat. So bless you, Joe. A man from West Virginia, where they're a landlocked state, lives on a houseboat named Almost Heaven, which, do you know where that name comes from? Almost Heaven? I mean, I'll give you 10% of the company if you know where that comes from.
I don't.
It comes from John Denver's elegy to West Virginia, Take Me Home, Country Roads. Is the opening line. Yeah. Almost Heaven.
Country roads. Yeah.
Oh, this mic makes you want to karaoke.
I got a good segue.
Well, I'm not done with this article yet.
Oh, rats. Okay, fine.
Save it for later.
Okay,
anyway,
fine. Finish your boat talk. Your boat stuff.
Oh, you're making fun because I like boat stuff?
You like boat stuff?
Come on, this is interesting. Lindsey Graham got COVID on his boat because this is where all the... I mean, does anything seem more DC, like Drain the Swamp, than a bunch of senators getting together on a houseboat and getting COVID together and just, putting together an infrastructure bill? And
seems pretty swampy to me.
Literally, you need a boat in this swamp. Hey!
Oh my God.
Anyway, you got a nice segue out of that.
My segue out of the country song was that there was an article about, just self-driving cars, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? There's a self-driving car company. But the the lead from TechCrunch was, it's only a matter of time before a country singer writes a song about his truck leaving him because it's a self-driving car. Get it?
I get it. And what about a self-driving boat? Country boat, take me home, West Virginia, must be up some river. Because
you lost me. I'm from Beverly Hills. You lost me.
All right. Now we're cooking here.
Speaking of Congress and the swamp,
politics.
Yeah, politics. AOC is pissed, and I'm pissed. I mean, everyone should be pissed that senators are allowed to trade without restriction, right? you and I can't just buy any old stocks we want because
No.
we are privileged to information because we have clients who work at these companies. So
Unlike
crazy
Congress.
that the leaders of our country who are hit with lobbyists trying to move things around, they meet with CEOs of companies all the time. They have, I'm sure, truckloads of insider information, yet they can buy and sell individual stocks all day long. Not
What
fair.
Can you do?
What can you do? Do you agree
What
with
could we
AOC?
do?
Do you think we should limit that?
Yeah, obviously. You and I are big proponents of ETFs. Very easy to diversify your risk these days, get rid of idiosyncratic risk. These are some of the smartest people in the country. Well, some would argue. Some would argue that they are or they aren't. But, if you're smart enough to be elected, then you probably have access to advisors. And most advisors these days are trending towards diversifying your holdings via ETFs and mutual funds. So why would somebody like Rand Paul or his wife, who probably has access to advisors and privileged information, purchase individual stocks? It's outdated. It's not optimized.
I got a hot take for you.
Oh.
You know why?
Why?
Because they're boomers. And their advisors are boomers. And they hired these advisors 30 years ago. And when, trading stocks was what investment advisors did, because there weren't low-cost ETFs. There were mutual funds, which one could argue were a good thing or a bad thing in the 80s and 90s. But they've just been with these folks for so long that I don't even think they know about ETFs. I don't think Nancy Pelosi knows what an ETF is.
Well, that's great for our country that Congress doesn't know what ETFs are, because that's,
how to have a low-cost diversified
solid
portfolio.
Really solid that they're in touch. I don't know. Do you think that they have to keep their thumbs on so many pulses? Do you think you could keep your thumb on so many pulses? Like if I asked you an aerodynamics or aerodynamics.
No, but that's the job of a politician is to hire, they have huge staffs, right? So they've got a bunch of millennials and Gen Zers on their and Gen Xers, sure. Hey, Gen X. On their staff who are supposed to be experts in these things. So you would think
you delegate the need
there's
to know.
Got to be
the
someone,
thumb on the pulse is delegated. Yeah,
someone's got their thumb on the pulse. Someone should be like, hey, Nancy, if you're going to be in the same party as AOC, who seems to be very popular among this demographic, like maybe we should listen to her. Maybe we should think about adjusting your portfolio because it has to be disclosed publicly, right? All this information is public. That's how we can find out about it.
Yeah, this seems like one of those things where like ignorance of the law is no excuse, as people hear all the time, but there's just not a law in this case against holding individual stocks. So yeah, bummer. I think there should be, but I don't know. At the same time, like it's like a few hundred people, right? So I can see why this is mostly not going to have a big impact on America. It's just that Congress should have just knocked this out probably 100 years ago if they were like, how hard is it?
Would that discourage smart, accomplished people from running for office if there was a law against investing in individual stocks? Probably. That's probably why it doesn't exist.
Incentives. Love it. Speaking of incentives, have you seen this article about people that are working 2 jobs during the pandemic?
This is one of those articles that when you're in our line of work, like people, like I will get the same article from like 12 different people. I had 5 different people send me this article.
Oh, amazing. This is such a good article.
It's so good.
It's such whimsy, such subterfuge.
People What's the title of the article?
These people. Oh,
these
it's
people
actually
who work from home have a secret. They have 2 jobs.
Yeah. And the graphic is a guy with a cardboard cutout of himself. He's wearing boxers. There's 2 laptops. Cardboard cutout has a thumbs up. Yeah. I mean, amazing that, not know. Like, this gave me anxiety because we have employees, for one. And 2, if I was an employee, if I read this article 5 years ago, absolutely. I would have immediately.
Well.
What?
Not to out ourselves, but wouldn't you argue that at a certain point,
where are you going with this?
You were pretty checked out of your full-time job when we were building this company?
Oh, yeah, I did do this.
We sort of did this.
Oh, right. You're right. Yeah.
But to be fair, I can speak for myself. I can't speak for you. My performance at my day job, so to speak, didn't suffer. In fact, I think it was better because I was so motivated to, moonlight, start this other company on the nights and weekends.
Do you think the future of work in the U.S. is, there's a lot of studies that show that people aren't engaged for like 50% of their time at work, and that everyone's in meetings all the time. And this is a product of that. And the future of employment in the U.S. is that you work somewhere for 20 to 25 hours a week wherein you're engaged. And then if you want a side hustle, you do that. And if that develops into a full-time thing, kind of like it did for us, then you would quit your day job.
Yeah.
Whereas these people are doing trying to do 25 hours of engagement.
Yeah, I mean, the 40-hour work week, or what's his face? The Tim Ferriss,
the 4-hour work week. Do we need to clarify? That's all about being an entrepreneur, though. So these people are getting 2 paychecks. I mean, do we need to clarify like what these people are doing? They literally you've got 2 40-hour a week jobs, but you're using like your unlimited PTO during certain big rushes at one job. You're using your PTO at one job to show up for another job when there's meetings. Like you're just gaming the system. There's a whole website here, overemployed.com. I hope my employees aren't listening to this. But I read it. So if I see some of these tactics, do you want to go through some of these tactics that they list on the website?
Yeah. Hit me.
No, you do it. There's these guys. Well, no, okay, I'll do it. I mean, my favorite one, first of all, is resist overwork. There's like the journal put together like a summary. Yeah. Resist overwork. Boss asking too much of you. You can always drop one job and find another, or just take a breather. One double job veteran is currently on a break, working just one job and pursuing personal coding projects and playing video games during the workday. It's great. It's great, he says. I have so much free time at my full-time job. Holy shit. What? Amazing. Some of the other guides, professional double dipping. 2-gig veterans have honed their craft over months. You avoid startups because they expect too much work. Yeah, for sure. Don't start 2 jobs too close together, lest you find yourself trying to learn the lay of the land of 2 companies simultaneously. Smash that decline button just because someone invites you to a meeting. You don't have to show up when you join a meeting. Like, imagine if someone in our company did that. It's like, nah.
I mean, but that's the thing is we're too small. I would hope that you couldn't do this at our company. Our employees also work incredibly hard and do fantastic work. Shout out, Team BKFI.
Yeah. For sure.
So I'd be very impressed if one of our employees had a full other. And our employees have side hustles, right? That's awesome. Like we want them to be using all sides of the brain.
Yeah.
But
yeah. If somebody asks too much of you, say that you need quote unquote heads down time to focus on another deliverable.
So mechanically,
buzzwords.
I get hired at a job. I'm just like a cog in the machine. I just like phone it in, do what I need to do, get paid my $100,000, get free healthcare for 401k. I hope these folks aren't double dipping, and I hope they're not going over their 19,500 at both companies.
New company? Should we start a new company just to focus on the double employed?
The double employed? Yeah. That would be a very Brooklyn FI thing to do.
New niche. Make sure that they take advantage of their double employment.
You're compliant in all aspects of tax filing. Yeah. I mean, filling out
that
W-4.
Can you imagine being at a company retreat at one of your 2 companies and you're taking PTO at the other one and you're like, yo, what's up? Oh, yeah, I know how to make s'mores. I just did it at my other company retreat.
Yeah.
Wow. AJ's really good at beer pong or Secret Hiller or whatever skills are going down at both companies. Amazing. I mean, cheers to these people that are working 2 jobs.
I guess so. I don't know what that says about work-life balance. I guess if what you like to do for fun is like play video games and you can do that during the day and you want to be financially independent, faster, go for it, right? If you're a software engineer making 2 incomes, do that for 10 years and then retire to what's a cheap Costa Rica? It's like low cost of living.
I don't know, man. Have you ever had a job? Have you ever had a boss that's like 20 years older than you and doesn't know what the hell they're doing, but they're making 3x your income? I see this as you're young, you know how to script things, or you know how to game the system to the point where you can actually like work. You can make up time for that. Like if you are so efficient at your job that you can keep 2 of them, like go for it, and good on you.
And that's also it's on the company that there's not good management there. Obviously, you and I think a lot about management and to make sure that work is both fulfilling and productive and efficient. Like those three things are clearly not happening at these companies. Like I think it's important for, if in careers like that you feel engaged. Obviously these people, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do feel engaged. Maybe they feel double engaged and they have so much more meaning
right
out of their work than anyone else. But
yeah,
I mean,
there's kind of two theories, right? Like what do you got?
Got a lukewarm take for you.
Oh, okay.
So I love New York City and I love LA, and I don't want to live in either place full time because every time I'm in one other city, it's like the grass is always
lukewarm.
Greener.
Yes.
So lukewarm. So like in New York City in August, it's like, ugh, it's so humid and hot. Everyone,
it's miserable
that's richer
right
than me is in their Hamptons house. I'm in my apartment sweating, running up an air conditioner bill. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to LA where it's like lovely and not humid.
Reducing your carbon footprint.
Shh. But it's like yesterday, like sitting in traffic, I was like, I hate this. Like, I wish I was back in New York. So like the grass is always greener when you live in two different places. So if you have two jobs, like
lukewarm, but I like
lukewarm. Oh yeah, super lukewarm
like
take. Yeah. But like, I'm mad at my boss in job A. Like, all right, well, I'm just going to log out and like pick up this project that I'm excited about in job B, and remote work allows you to do that. So
the two girlfriend theory.
Oh God. Yeah. I guess it is that too. Yeah, it's like
the
Tilda Swinton.
Yeah.
Tilda Swinton, who's I think this is a very outdated news item, but I use it all the time. Tilda Swinton has like two different lives and publicly, and everyone's cool with it. I think.
You said lives. I think you meant to say she has two different men.
Well, she has two different men, but like in different continents that just like drops into one when that, spends time with this one, then goes to the other one.
Should we spend the rest of the podcast talking about that?
I mean, maybe.
Speaking of doubling up, the CNBC S&P 5, according to CNBC, the S&P 500 has doubled since the pandemic bottom in March of 2021. What's your take on this, AJ?
My take is that this is evidence of two things. One, that we should not try to time the market, because a lot of people are going to come out and say, I knew it. Back in March, I was so happy that I had all this cash sitting on the sidelines because I knew that was the bottom, and I bought all these stocks when they were on sale. When in reality, what was happening is we were in month 1 of a terrifying global pandemic, and people were dying, and most people were afraid for their lives and staying inside and trying to find masks that weren't t-shirts to wrap around their face, and they weren't thinking about arbitrage in the stock market. That was the emotion. That was what's actually happened in the emotional headspace of most investors. So it's really cool to say, like, hindsight, I could have called the bottom and I should have, I invested at that point. But in reality, we never know, and emotion takes over. So this is evidence that you should remove all emotion from investing and not think about the short term, think about the long term. This is a boring philosophy that we employ at Brooklyn FI, which is invest every spare dollar that you have into the stock market and be as tax efficient as possible about it. This story is exciting. The economy charged forward and S&P 500 doubled. Good for them. Shouldn't change our philosophy at all.
Yeah, there's two words in that strategy: buy and hold. Right?
Yeah.
So you got to break it down. Like, you just buy as much as you can, and then hold as long as you can, and the magic of compound interest will do its thing as long as you do that. And if you had sold during March of 2020, you would have not have held. And if you had bought in March of 2020, that would have been great. But you should be buying as much as you can, as long as you can, because time spent in the market, as they say, is much better than timing the market, the old phrase.
I mean, how many conversations have you had, Shane, over the past 10, we'll call it 5 years, of people saying, well, the bottom's going to drop out of the economy. And that's why, I know it's coming. How many times have you heard people say that?
A million times. And, it's really it is frustrating. You have to really give people you have to have a lot of patience with people. But on the other side of so many white papers and so many historical studies of biases and knowing how people think about the market before you build that patience, and just you go from getting mad at them to be like, oh, well, you don't know how valuations work and how time value of money works and how prices work. and how if everyone knew that the bottom was going to drop out, then the prices would be lower and you might be buying. But yeah, a million times.
Yeah. Also, 2008 is like recent history. A lot of people, had homes taken away, lost jobs, couldn't get back into the job market. Like that was devastating for so many people. So to be in an uncertain environment with, a pandemic, headlines about, unemployment soaring, there's too much cash injection from the government, here comes inflation, all these scary things. I sympathize with the standpoint of this is scary. I think another recession is coming because last time this is what it felt like and I'm scared again. And, my advice there is just like block out the noise. Like it's okay if you have like a solid, here's my financial planner hat. If you have a solid financial plan, like the next 6 months shouldn't matter, right? We're investing for the long term. If you have a plan, you've got the cash you need for you and your family to survive a downturn, and the rest is invested in the market or in real estate or in Bitcoin or whatever you want to invest in. But it's so hard to tune out the end is coming, right? Because that's what happens when you turn on, MSNBC and CNBC. Like that's what we see.
Yeah, I watch CNBC every morning in between my
No, you don't.
my gym visit and my
I can't tell if you're kidding or not. I think you're kidding.
I couldn't come up with a hot take. I'm trying to remember like with those morning routines jokes that like Mark Wahlberg wakes up at like 4 a.m. or some shit and he does like a 2-hour bike ride. I'm so out of touch with health that I can't even make a joke about.
You're so unhealthy. Oh my God. Wait, my favorite joke of all time is an Ellen DeGeneres joke, which is I'm so unfamiliar with the gym. I call it James.
Okay. Oh my God. Wow. Well, we're going to end on a high note.
As
high as AJ must be to think that's funny. So thank you guys for listening to episode 4 of the Liquidity Event. Thank you for joining us. Email us if you have any voicemail. You can email us at liquidityevent@brooklynify.com. You can leave us a voicemail. We really encourage any voicemails from you. We love voicemails. You can find the show notes at www.brooklynify.com/episode 4. And we look forward to seeing you guys episode 5. AJ, read us out.
Thanks so much for listening to the Liquidity Event. Cheers, my friends. See you next week.
That straight mezcal. Good God.